I'm Cheryl Winters, and welcome to Crawford One News. We're here to give you the inside scoop on the issues that matter to you. This evening, we talk about climate change. I'm sure you're all familiar with this topic, but are we really familiar with who it impacts? Not just us here in the first world countries, but us, our brothers and sisters in the third world countries. Some recent statistics include that global temperature, if it rises 3.6 Fahrenheit degrees, corn production is expected to increase by 10 to 30%. This will be especially damaging to nations where food shortages are already a key issue. In terms of food, by 2020, some assessments predict that 75 to 200 million people will experience water stress from climate change. The risk of drought has almost doubled in some Eastern African nations. Talk about a game changer. African nations who have finally rid themselves of disease will have new diseases such as malaria reintroduced to them when bugs such as mosquitoes do not die off in the winter. Now, we're going to take a look at the science behind this and go into our girl, Beatrice Hughes, in the wild, who has taken time out of her science expedition in the Thug of Lambeth to do some sciencing for us.
Oh, I didn't see you there. I was just looking at high rising coast levels. Studies have shown that global climate change threatens coastlines and buildings and cities located along it. The hundreds of millions of people around the world who live in low-lying areas near the coast that could be flooded as the sea level rises due to climate change. Sea levels will also erode beaches and damage many coastal wetlands. Rising sea levels and stronger storms caused by rising temperatures could completely wipe out certain beaches and islands. Waves, severe storms, air pollution, and disease linked to climate have already threatened people's lives in many areas of the world. Extreme heat can cause illness such as heat cramps, heat stroke, and even death. A 2003 heat wave in Europe caused about 50,000 deaths, and a 1995 heat wave in Chicago caused more than 600 deaths. In fact, heat waves cause more deaths in the United States every year than hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, and earthquakes combined. Temperatures, changing precipitation patterns, and increasing droughts will affect the amount of water in lakes, rivers, and streams, as well as the amount of water that seeps into the ground to replenish groundwater. In 2007, a major drought hit southeastern U.S. Lake Alenia, which is the main source of drinking water for the Atlanta area, was reduced to record low water levels. Fires are already common in forests and grasslands of western North America. As the earth gets warmer and droughts increase, wildfires are expected to occur more often to be vastly more destructive. In fact, if the earth gets just 3.6 degrees warmer, we can expect wildfires in the western North America to burn 4 times more than they do now. Talk about a game changer. Back to you, Cher.
Thank you, Beatrice, for all of that scientific enlightenment. Now, we're going to see what the people have to say with our field reporter, Jeff You Betcha. Take it away, Jeff.
Thanks, Cheryl. I'm here on the streets of downtown London looking to see what the public has to say about this. Do you feel the impacts of climate change affect your daily life?
No. No. Not immediate stuff.
Maybe a little bit, but I don't know enough.
Yes.
Not really.
No. Yes.
Do you feel climate change affects those more in the third world countries?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. You mean, yes, because, yeah.
I guess we all suffer the consequences evenly.
When you said all those things, it makes sense, and yeah, that would have more of a...
Have everything. We're the quarter of the world that has 95% of everything, and they're the 3/4 of the world that have very little.
It's not necessarily true.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess it would probably.
Yeah, because because people already live in Africa.
It's become real enough for people in first world countries, the impacts of it. I mean, we have the benefits of, stable government and all kinds of things that help us weather change, like floods in Calgary, floods in Ontario, things like that, versus other countries that don't have as responsive and supportive governments, and then they struggle with the impact. So I don't think it feels real enough for people in Canada, for Canadians to really take action on climate change. I think that's one of the stumbling points.
What efforts have you made to prevent climate change?
LED lights, carpooling.
Just green grass and stuff.
I knew, like we compost.
Go digital.
Tree planters.
Less water consumption.
Try to conserve energy personally, but I mean,
Bringing your bags to the grocery store.
Study done by the National Resource Defense Council, an environmental group fighting for justice in issues related to climate change, recently published a statement which included, "It's a statistical fact. The poor and people of color are most likely to live in America's most polluted neighborhoods and regions around the world most impacted by the negative consequences of climate change." Wow. Talk about a statement.
What are your thoughts on the accusations made by the NRDC?
I somewhat agree with that, because I think the people that are the poorer side of the city, they have more things to worry about.
I feel like we all suffer from it, but we benefit and they don't benefit.
Well, there's a little bit of truth in there, unfortunately. I don't go with that myself. I try to treat people same as I would treat anybody. Everybody's the same. We're all equal.
Not necessarily just rich people. If you travel to any third world country in the world, you can see ridiculous amounts of garbage, waste, emissions from coal, everything else.
What a day! So many diverse opinions. I'm Jeff You Betcha, coming from Crawford 1. Back to you, Cheryl.
Thanks, Jeff. Well, there you have it, folks. Such a wide spectrum of opinions. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I'll see you next time on Crawford 1. Stay dandy.